Very warm good afternoon. Morning, we had a very time constraint because I need to leave for some other meeting. So I need to rush up for some of the PPT as I promised. I'm just creating one more video and uploading for your benefit. So the one more main aspect which I supposed to cover today in the morning was career opportunities. Opportunities is depend upon the number of GST registered person. So if you see the number of the GST registered person, India, it's very huge. We have more than 1 crore. And if you see the number of the tax practitioner who are registered in Karnataka is only 6,650 for size of 9 lakhs registration in GST. One more advantage in GST is there is no state barriers. Before the GST there was a VAT, because the VAT law was different in Karnataka, VAT law was different in Tamil Nadu. The various states had different VAT laws. But one of the beautiful advantage in GST is only one law we have. Apart from small differences like limit in registration, which I covered in the morning. Apart from that, there is no much difference between the states. So you sitting in Bangalore or Puttur, you can even serve for a client who is sitting in the Delhi. Only requirement is your knowledge. You have to be very well knowledge, very well equipped. You should know in and out of the GST. You should follow regular news updates, circulars, and notification. You have to keep watching in the CBIC website, and you have to update your knowledge on. Once you update your knowledge, and you can serve throughout the India, and the sky is the limit. You see how the collection, GST collection is. See, every year, every month, government is touching 1 lakh crore collection. It is because of the one of the infrastructure and the compliance of tax by our citizens. The tax collection is month on month is increasing. Now it is almost stabilized at 1 lakh crore per month. So 1 lakh crore per month is not a small amount. It's a very good revenue generation act for a government. There are 5 stages where you can serve to the client and make money. 1, advisory service. Second, implementation. You can say first implementation, because once the client is registered or once the client has started his business, first requirement is implementation. Implementation requires a lot of in-depth knowledge of the client. You need to understand its business, what are the products, type of service he deliver. Then you need to see what is the HSN code which is applicable, what is the GST rate it is applicable, what is the procedure that is applicable. Because if there is a manufacturer and if he is doing with the job work, there is a job work procedure, and you need to streamline, or you need to create a definite timelines for each compliances, and you need to create a procedure. You need to see the invoices, whether all the content which is required in the invoice, whether it taken care. So you need to design the implementation, and it requires a lot of time for implementation, because you need to study A to Z of a client, and you need to give a to Z requirement in GST for a particular client. So this is a very good revenue source. You need to do it. Here there is no specific qualification that is required. So for implementation, the client should have a belief in you that you should be in a position to advise him properly. So there is no specific law degrees something is required for implementation. Next, tax planning. So once implemented, then you need to optimize taxes. See, the industry is working with a very thin line of margin, very thin line of margin. In so many businesses, the margin is only negligible, 1%, 0.5%, but there will be a huge turnover. But the GST rate is 18%. A small mistake will lead to a lot of difficulty or a lot of losses in the business. So you have to be very careful in tax planning. Without tax planning also, it's very difficult for a company to survive, because the margin is very less. Without tax, person who is doing a tax planning, he will be in the position to give attractive prices, and he will do his business better compared to the person who is not doing a tax planning. So tax evasion is wrong, but you have to do a tax planning. For example, you are wrongly classified as a product at 18% GST. Actual rate of the product is 5%. What is the impact? Your price is costlier by 13% compared to your competitors. So your client will not be in the position to do his business. So tax planning is one of the important requirement for any business. So there is a huge potential opportunity in tax planning. Next, procedural compliance. Procedural compliance and advisory is any change in law, any new update, any changes. For example, last January they implemented, if the turnover is more than 50 lakhs, e-invoicing was made compulsory. So all these, whether it is applicable to particular client, you need to advise, and they may have some legal opinion. They are renting is commercial property for a businesses, and also they are collecting electricity along with as per the meter reading from the from that customer. So you should be in position to advise whether the GST is leviable on electricity which is collected over and above rent. So these are the expectations that client will have in respect of advisory services. Apart from this, there which I already mentioned is a procedural compliance. So compliance service is one of the good revenue earning, because every month and every quarterly there will be a filing of GST return, GSTR 1, 3B. In respect of composition dealer, you need to file annually GSTR 4, and quarterly PMT 08 has to be generated and tax has to be paid on a regular basis. And the filing of GSTR 1 is also complicated, requires the software knowledge, which many of the small taxable person may not be able to do it. So there is a lot of opportunity in the outsourced opportunity for doing a compliance work. You can do a good compliance work, and there is no prerequisite knowledge or anything is required. Next is litigation. As you know, whatever the stand the taxable person take, it may not be accepted by tax authorities. There is a lot of investigation which the department is going. They can come to the place under 67, they can inspect, search, they can send you summons under 70 and ask you to come and explain your business, and they may do an audit under section 35 and they ask you to produce books of accounts and show. So whenever all this compliance is required, there will be always a difference of opinion. You may say this product is taxable at 5%, the department will say 18%, and you may have collected some incidental charges from the customer. You say it is not taxable, but the department may say it is taxable. So there will be a lot of litigation. Then they will pass and they give a show cause notice. Then we will give a reply to show cause notice. Then they will call for a personal hearing, will appoint a consultant, and consultant will go and they will explain all this. And sometimes they agree, they drop the litigation, but sometimes they may not drop the litigation. They will pass an order. Based on the order, you can either go to first appellate authority. Once appellate authority order is passed, then you have to go to tribunal. Up to tribunal, to represent, you should be either a CA, CSR, ICW or LLB. LLB is also a good option for litigation, because LLB, even after tribunal, you have to go to state and state high courts and Supreme Courts. One of the best advantage in LLB, you can practice both in state and in center. LLB is not only for a criminal and civil cases, it is also a good opportunity in tax litigation. You can become a GST expert in LLB. You can do a LLB and you can only tax matters only you can litigate, and you can make a good money. So even I am doing my final year of LLB, because LLB has very good opportunity in litigation. Apart from this, to acquire a good knowledge, so there is one diploma, post-graduation diploma in goods and service taxes, which is available in Institute of Autonomous Institute of Government of Kerala, that is Gulati Institute of Finance and Tax. They have beautifully designed a course, that is a post-graduation. So after your graduation, you can do this post-graduation diploma in goods and service tax. which is only one subject. They have taken in-depth analysis and in-depth training in respect of GST, and once that course you have completed, you will be in better position to advise. Apart from this, you can also do a GST practitioner. This is an exam which is conducted by National Customs Indirect Tax and Narcotics Academy. They'll conduct this exam, and once you pass, they will give a certificate as a GST practitioner. Apart from this, the law graduate, commerce graduate also can get this registered, and chartered accountant also can get this registered. If the chartered accountants and postgraduates get registered as a GST practitioner, they need not write exam. Otherwise, they need to write an exam, which is MCQ type of exam. Once you pass that exam, you will be said as a GST practitioner. The advantage in GST practitioner is you can do so many compliance work for your client. But here there will not be any fixed salaries. You need to have a big base of clients. For them, you can give a services in the area of GST. To apply this, you need to visit to gst.gov.in website. There you need to submit a form called PCT01. Once it is successfully approved by your concerned GST officer, you will get a user ID password to log into gst.gov website. Once you log into website, you can perform all these functions: furnishing of details of outwards and inward supplies, that is GSTR1 and 2. 2 is not in operation, but you can submit GSTR1 on behalf of your client, and furnishing monthly return GSTR3B, GSTR4, annual return in GSTR9, 9C. All these forms can be submitted on behalf of your client. And even you can deposit cash or in the credit ledger of your client. Claiming refund, you can file a refund application on behalf of client. The advantage is you need not wait for their user ID password. You need not ask their user ID password. All these things can be done in the login ID, which is specifically given for tax practitioner. And you can also register, amend, cancel client's registration. He can generate e-way bill. He can furnish ITC04, which is a form which is required in respect of a principal where they are doing job work activity. In respect of goods which is sent for job work, all these details has to be furnished, because there is a special exemption. If you are sending goods for a job work, you need not pay any tax for this moment. To claim this exemption, you need to file ITC04. Those forms can be filed by a GST practitioner. Okay, another, you can cancel your GST registration of your client, and opting in, opting out from the composition scheme. All these activities which can be performed by a GST practitioner from his own login ID. So these are the advantage for a GST practitioner. So these are the main things which I wanted to inform you in respect of the career. See, now CA is not only limited to statutory audit. Earlier, chartered account core area was only statutory audit. Now, one chartered accountant cannot do all the areas of practice, because it is very dynamic, it is very changing. As I opted only GST as my core practice as a chartered accountant. So you can do a CA to practice in GST. CA is not only an audit, you can opt income tax as your practice area, GST, audit, internal audit, concurrent audit, advisory, litigation, information technology. Even I have done it is where you can do a system audit of your clients, because nowadays many things are system driven. Majority of all the banks are core banking, fully automated, so requires a system audit. These are the different areas. You have a opportunity as a chartered accountant. Chartered accountant is also one of the good option for you. Also, you can do a LLB. LLB will open litigation. If you are interested in litigation, you are a very good reader of act, you can interpret a statute very well, then LLB is also very good option. So these are the very other career opportunities which I wanted to discuss in the morning. Because the lack of time, I could not discuss. So now this is the thing. So I will be doing one more video in respect of the problem which I wanted to discuss in the morning, which I could not discuss. This is the small video in respect of GST opportunities. Please subscribe to my channel CABS MyLab. The next two videos which I'm going to discuss, you will get a pop-up and you can watch. Thank you.